9. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing.
Well, I must say, race fans, I mean, I've always kind of questioned myself if I ever kind of look good in blue, and even though I have my day job actually in blue, I was kind of wondering myself, what would happen if we actually put these boys into the blue kind of state, blue kind of grounds here today? Well, let's find that out here as we present to you live from Iowa Speedway here in Newton, Iowa, the You'd Look Good in Blue 165 right here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Chris Stroud, joining you guys here today as we're setting off to set clear of our 2 races. Yes, you heard me, 2 of them. We are now ready for the action, ready to set sail for some hard racing, some hard charging by our Venom Truck Series boys. So let's get it down and set it off to the You'd Look Good in Blue 165. On the pole, we'll see Paul Ellison, number 55 is outside, is Jan Van Leer in the 5. Row number 2 is going to be Chad Streams in the number 05. Steams 05 is outside 21, Jeff Langston. In row number 3, that will be piloted up by Rodney Roberts. The 28 is outside Michael Crawl in the number 11. Row number 4 is going to be Carson Mitchell, and the 4 is outside Eric Breeding in the 26. Row number 5 is John Kay, and the 2 is outside Ryan Dye, piloting the 15. In row number 6, we're going to see Paul Sargent, the 49 is outside Corey Rutherford, and the number 50. In row number 7, that will be piloted by the drivers of Michael Dean in 73 and Josh Maxwell in the number 8. In row number 8 is going to be Will Solomon in the 99s outside. It is Pascal Simard in the number 78. In row number 9, Kevin Sargent will pilot the 09s outside Garrett Rainey in the 17. Row number 10, that's David Fay, and the number 88 is outside Kyle Dumig in the 18. Row number 11, that's going to be Brantley Gainey Jr. in the 22 is outside. That's Stephen Durham in the number 87. In row number 12, it's Sam Dunaway in the 6-7. Dylan Frazier piloting the 38. Final starters in this one, it will be Carter Jokiel in the 25 to round out your field, and you may see my overlays kind of getting a little all over the place here. I apologize up front in advance. I have no idea why it's doing that or why that's going on, but just beware that we are looking into it and we do not know why it's doing that. I'll talk more about what took us so long to get this up today and what took us so long to get this race to look as good as it did here as now as we get ready to bring our drivers to the set stage. Paul Ellison will leave Jan Van Leer in the number 5 down off the track here into turn number 4 off the front straightaway. Back to the green, onto the start. 165 laps to the distance. And I gotta refresh myself real quick on last names because I've already messed up on some names. It's not Salamone, it's Salamoni in the 99. Well, but as I say that, I think he might have heard me down there. I was like, wait a minute, he actually got my name right? Well, I'm sorry, Salamoni. I didn't mean to mess it up there, bud. He gets a little squared up though, back off of turn number 2, gets straight fired back around. Josh Maxwell in the 8 though. Not so fortunate, troubles down there for his end. Coming off the corners down on the track here, everybody moving their way into the position, trying to hang on to the charge, trying to hang on to the limits here. Every driver looking to keep their positions and more up on the edges, more on the shots. Jan Van Leer, the number 5. And again, if I am saying names wrong again, let me know. I know Salamoni, I messed up his name. Again, there's a lot of drivers I got to keep track of, and there's a lot of guys I got to keep reminding myself of. So if I say their name wrong, please, please let me know. Coming off the ends here, turn number 2. Once more, you see Chad Streams 05 right now. He's trying to keep Steve 05 ahead of the 11 of Michael Crawl. Crawl right now looking to crawl his way back up into the fight, into the zone as he takes on for that Toyota Tundra. Crawl last time out having a pretty good performance here on the show. Came up just a little bit short though in the long haul of it. Looking to try to change that up as he is also looking on as the Sergeants in Arms. 49 Paul Sargent coming right up into the mix and into the fray. And this lineup of drivers here again, just a who's who of big talents waiting to be recognized, ready to be realized, and really shown up at their highest level and their highest peak. As you see, drivers getting a little slowed up back down in the position here. Trouble down there as yellow is out. Yellow flag out for Pascal Simard. Took a bit of a hit there, unfortunately slowed up badly, and that will slow the whole field down on the crawl here. We'll take a look at the PTM instant replay. Take a look and see what happened there to that 76. Might have oversized turn here a little bit. Kind of came off turn number 4 pretty hot, it seemed like. Well, he's got good speed there. Everything seems all right here. 17 came down. Oh, okay. Well, that might be the old short track racing issue there for you, folks. Pascal getting a nice little tag and a nudge there. That from Garrett Rainey and the number 17. Rainey, I don't think intentionally meant to get him there, but you know, that 76 Pascal might think otherwise here. When we look at it. Well, it definitely didn't look intentional by any means. It just looked like a bit of a hard racing ordeal. Pascal will have to figure out how he wants to look at it, though, and how he wants to play it from there. That is definitely a bit of a hit and a half, though, to say the least. Drivers currently getting squared back up into position here as we're running them down on the track. Your race leader is the number 21. That is Jeff Langston, piloting it up today in the Rotelity, number 21 F-150. Field now ready to get back to the green here as our caution lights will turn off this time on by here. Field now set to go back into the pace, or well, I guess maybe not quite just yet. Yeah, with that caution out yet again, let's kind of see everything fair and back into the slot. Jan rhymes with Jan. Jan Salamone. Yeah, Jan Van Leer, right? That's how I said it. And then Salamoni rhymes with alimony. Yeah, Jan Van Leer, right? I told you, Jan, I was going to mess your name up again. I told you last time as well I was going to probably mess that up. Salamoni, I kind of thought I actually got it right. Someone told me, go look back at the previous stream, and he actually put a message there for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So, Salamoni, I'm apologizing again up front. I really need to start writing these things down. But usually over time, as soon as I do it so often, I just start remembering it off the top of my head. Then Crawl, it's Michael Crawl, right? And the 11, it's not Crowl or Crawl or Crail, it's Crawl. Like crawl, as in you crawl, like a baby crawling. Well, Jan Van Leer saying I got the on his name there at least. I'm presuming he did not mean crawl there. We'll give you our best stuff. We see you there. Anyway, we'll get back to green flag racing. Last night, I do want to make an apology up front as well. This is what took me so long to get this race up here, as we are currently trying to stream it live here to you guys right now on the show. What happened was last night we had an update with iRacing, and iRacing, because of their updates, kind of knocked out the servers and knocked out some of the things on our end that we used to show you the overlays. So we had to go with the old school ones. We started with literally beginning our whole streaming lifestyle. So we really want to make an apology up front to Men's Pits iRacing League, and an apology to everyone at home. Hope you guys didn't mind it too much and you still enjoy the show. But again, we will make sure that everything is set to go for their championship race at Rockingham tomorrow, next week, as we are set back now to get back to the green. Drivers off, drivers on the run. We're back at it. And Conde, good to see you as well there, sir. Good to have you back on board. Back into the fight here. Jan Van Leer in the 5 now, moving it right down low. They had Steams here trying to keep him in distance. Not trying to social distance. I think he's just trying to make sure he keeps him at a distance. Meanwhile, Carson Mitchell, number 4, Tracker Boats. First time we've seen him really put on a little bit of a fight here. Here comes the number 4 Tundra as the Tracker Boats is now on the attack. On the attack and on the outside. Again, there are 2 lines to hit here. That's what makes Iowa so good. You got 2 lines to use, the bottom or the middle. You can use top side every now and then, but the top side's a bit of a ruckus little crowd up there. Bit of a danger zone if you ask me. I would not recommend trying to make a move off there if I was them, but that is just me. John Kay and the number 2 right now are getting a good onboard camera here. 2 of his shots, you see him trying to get up to the long John Silver's number 15. That's Ryan Dye piling it up in the F-150 today. Making for the pass around Michael Krall here. Krall giving him plenty of room down on the top side, on the bottom side as he goes top side. Corey Rutherford, the number 50, also looking to make a bit of a move off, bit of a gain. Track and position, working their way up. It's a long, long race again with these drivers, and these guys know they cannot make mistakes too quickly. They cannot let up too easily. Jeff Langston in that fresh, clean air, though, man, he is swinging this thing around like it's nobody's business. As Ellison tries to get up there with him. Langston in the back, kind of throwing back in the pack here a little bit too. Kind of having some problems down there in those last couple races, but Langston today seems to have now figured everything out on the track today, and hopefully he's got it dialed in for the whole run, because this is pretty impressive so far. Krall yet again struggling here as Eric Breeding gets around him. Well, Will Salamoni here gets around him as well. Salamoni right now currently keeping his distance, keeping his speed into the grassroots. Carter Jokiel going right in it as well as he starts to now kind of slice and dice the field after a little hiccup you saw though with that 17 Garrett Rainey and the number 76 of Pascal Simard. You gotta wonder yourself, is any of these boys actually gonna be able to kind of stay away from each other in the long form of things? And Rainey just put it really close up there with the binders there, getting a little bit on the side skirt momentum, almost getting right into the side. Oh, that 25, Joe Keel, I gotta believe, not too thrilled. He's gonna kind of take him for a little ride around here. Dylan Frazier even now having a little fun with him, kind of poking the bear by putting that nose into the rear corner. Certainly isn't making too many friends down there, I'll say. Just kind of making his own little world. Throughout our season so far, out of the 2 races we've seen in this case here, we have currently had 2 different winners here on PTM Racing TV. Our first one coming at Daytona. That was delivered to us by Kyle Zittel, as Kyle was able to literally take that one away from the field and from the crew. It was his very first race win ever on a show and on a race for that matter. You know, when he talked to us earlier about it, he's like, man, I'm just glad we got it out of the way, but now I got to try to prove these guys I'm not a one-hit wonder. Unfortunately, cannot make the call today as the day starts to fade into night here at Iowa. But nevertheless, Kyle, wherever you are right now, my friend, we hope to see you back on the show soon enough, sir. And then, of course, last week in Dover, 132 laps of the difference for the fall, not forgotten, 132. Andy Palicki was pretty much the man that was absolutely there to bring home the speed and bring home the power. Absolutely nobody was taking him for granted that day. But in this case here, he is right now still in a bit of a problematic zone or two because he currently is not on the track today as well that I'm seeing or reading. So wherever he is, hopefully he will be able to join us back on soon as well. 2 winners though means we're not in racing today, means we're going to have a brand new winner here on PTM Racing TV no matter what happens in this race. But who will it be exactly, and who will maybe be the one to take that moniker home? You'll have to soon find out here on PTM Racing TV, folks, because right now we are currently in the mix and in the fight and the fray of this hard action-packed little track. Yeah, Newton, Iowa Speedway, well known for its crazy times and crazy races here, to say the least. Jeff Langston right now currently the race leader, and by a good margin of error too, to say the least. Langston with the 21 separated out by the second place driver by a half a second, and Paul Ellison. And you can see too, something that Langston is doing that Ellison is having a hard time kind of coping with, is the fact that Langston is driving the extreme top side. Now remember what I said earlier, you got 3 different lines to work off of: bottom, middle, top. Now, if you go to that top side and go up to the cushion, I'm saying a cushion literally when it's an asphalt track, but hey, in Iowa, we got a lot of dirt tracks, all right? We got plenty of cushiony tracks out here, to say the least. Oh, and speaking of cushiony tracks, I think Dylan might be wanting to try to find himself a nice little cushion to kind of lay into, because this one is not in the same place he was hoping to be put into. Down on the bottom, a yellow flag flies out. Dylan Frazier, a little bit of trouble down there, unfortunately. And I think I might have an idea what happened here. Here is the PTM replay, and once again, have a look at this. Another scenario that happens at turn number 1. Got clipped up there by the 88. That was David Fay. That gave him the old bump and run, a little tag there going into the corner. Again, I don't think he was mean to do that by any means, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't happen to anyone here. So David Fay getting a piece of him there, unfortunately, and getting a little bit more than his money's worth, I should say. Looks like one more look at it from the onboard camera here of the 88. Remember too, these two are teammates here, so this little move here kind of hurts both guys here for a bit, because it's going to end up forcing them both to have to try to work out the strategies to kind of figure out where they're going to play out from here. Definitely a bad deal and a bad little hit there, but again, that is kind of the part of racing mentalities. Field has now set the field track back up now. We're ready to get back into it just a little bit. Carson Mitchell in the number 4 are going to take top spot away from Jeff Langston and Rodney Roberts, as Roberts goes 3 spots up. Mitchell will go up 6 at the moment. Now, this was all based due to a strategy they had made on pit road and what they wanted to do there. So, if it works out okay, it will definitely help out his case a little bit, but that's going to be the question that he's going to be able to answer here. Coming around back down out of town here off of turn number 4, back into the green flag restart zone, and we're back underway. The Ute look good in blue. 165 puts it back out, and the field is now stacked up, putting a big momentum boost on the track. Battle for position for the race lead. Langston straight to the bottom, going to the corner, looking for the slingshot off of turn number 4. Try to slide job it up into the 4. No, Mitchell can't quite give him up that easily. And Langston now having to go on offense. He played defense just a little bit, now has to play a little offense on these boys. And he does. Gets a nice little charge off turn number 2. The slider is engaged and swings it around. Carson Mitchell and Rodney Roberts staying out to give himself a little bit more room and a little more trackside here, but I don't know how well that will end up working out for him here, as the field is currently in a bit of a troublesome spot. We got yellow out. Yellow, yellow, yellow. And it looks like Eric Breeding and Michael Dean were the ones involved in this one. We'll have to take a look at the PTM replay and see what exactly transpired here, but that did not look good at all for either one of these drivers. Another look at it shows us the PTM replay in all of its glory. And a little bit of a beep there. It looks like Sargent actually got taken for a ride. And whoa! Hold on there. Breeding nearly up end over end, upside down. But that 26 at least was staying upright, at least on the track. About got taken to the shadow realm was what happened to that thing. My lord. Got hit hard. Paul Sargent took the most of that hit there. But we'll take a look at the other spot here. Here's the number 49 here. We'll take a look at Sargent's wreck here. Unfortunately, looks like he got tangled in with the 99 in Salamone. And, yeah, no, actually just kind of tangled himself up. Paul, unfortunately, not able to hold the line down. And everyone else kind of, well, kind of paid for his suffering there. So, field now is getting settled back down into the position, into the strike zone. Into this. We're going to re-rack, we're going to restack, and pack them up all on the attack. So race fans, while we're currently getting all situated out here on the show, let's take a look at our race info here. The Track Tech Talk presented by Venom Truck Series. New Iowa Speedway. This is about a .588 mile. I think this is about a .88 mile track, about a .8 track. It's actually a .8, not about .89, .58, if you will, depending on where the heck you run this thing at. In total, though, this length is under a mile in length. It is just a bit over than I think Richmond Raceway's length, which is about .75 of a mile. It's a very tough little track, very tough little spot to throw yourself into. Progressive bankings in the turns, progressive corners and straights that really aren't much of straights, more or less that they're just kind of keeping you on your toes. The best way I always put it, it's pretty much like driving a bull ring Chicagoland style racetrack in the middle of the big stadium arena tracks, and this is what you get in total and in return. It's a very unique layout, and if I'm being honest with you guys, I've never visited it. I've seen it plenty of times on the highway. I wanted to go visit it, and believe me, I'll get that chance come in July when I get to see the when I get to actually go see these guys race. But actually, not these guys, but the Indy cars. But nevertheless, that's a different story. We'll talk more about that later on someday. But right now, watching on as we're currently in the mix of our race here today for the You Look Good in Blue 165, the Venom Truck Series. Setting them back up, setting them back out. But they're not ready to double file just yet here. Langston taking the race lead away there for Carson Mitchell going into turn number 1 and 2 a little earlier on. He was putting up the boost of that 4 off of turn 4 and then ended up finally getting him on the inside 1 and 2. So speed-wise, Langston definitely not lacking that department, but the question remains is will he be able to keep it going long haul versus short haul here? Rodney Robertson, 28, taking out a pit road here earlier on with number 4 Mitchell, trying to maybe find himself a little bit of an opening, trying to find some angles or gaps he can work with. Didn't quite get there in this case. Now has to get everything dialed back in. Michael B. Dean saying, "What's up, boys?" Hey, Michael, how's it going, my friend? Field is now settled back down onto the track, back into play, and we're ready. Settling back down. I think Michael Dean might be trying to message us from down there in the pit road. Michael, I've told drivers this 1,000 times. Don't comment in here if you're racing, my friend. We need you guys to stay focused on the track. Don't text and drive, kids. Yeah, there was Michael Dean there. You'll see him piloting up there in the number 73. We'll see if he can bring this truck back to life as he's currently a lap down, unfortunately, due to some unfortunate circumstances at pit road and the wreckage that's kind of gotten him flagged here. These drivers finding out the hard way. Iowa Speedway is no joke. It will test you and your racing skills to its fullest potential. Right off the distance in corner number 4, bring him back to the line, back to the chicane of the front straightaway, and we're back under the green. We're ready and off. Lay him down through the corners, and yet again, still trying to get an angle or two figured out, trying to find a way around the track and find a way around some openings here. Everybody looking for speed, looking for distance. Brantley Gage Jr., number 22, Tundra right now, trying to make something work here as the sign zone boy comes up to the fray with Pascal Simard race. Pascal Simard right now trying to outlast and outsmart him a little bit here as the field continues to dive in and dive on around. The 18 and Kyle Dumick here as well, moving some chains up as Michael Krall gets himself back up with some of the boys. He was in the hot upper half earlier on, actually qualified 6th. Hasn't been able to get it reeled in since then though, and there's troubles down there for the number 25, Carter Joe Keel. No caution thrown though. They'll keep it green for now. Flagman does not want to worry about Joe Keel, but he's keeping a close tab on that 25. I don't even know what the heck happened to that 25. But we'll take a look at that PTM replay and see real quick here, and maybe we can get an idea of what exactly transpired here for him. Looks like the Miller Genuine Draft 25 unfortunately got a little tangled up with Eric Breeding. You see two drivers looking for the same real estate, and one could not falter. And unfortunately for the 25, it was Eric Breeding as he makes him falter around the track a little bit. So they stay green right now here. They're moving up back into the pace here, back onto the live show. Currently still watching on. Maxwell even now on the 8. Send it down on the back straightaway. He ends up into the wall, clobbering the inside end. Trouble down there for the 8, unfortunately. A tough break here, but these guys can't seem to get this track figured out. It's a loose track for sure, but it's not impossible to run. It's really just the main thing is not letting your rear end slide out too much from you and not letting the truck tighten up. Once you start to tighten up at Iowa Speedway, it's a some bit of trouble to really work around. The best strategist, the best kind of driving is to work a full throttle and a full on the times you can, and make sure you can actually keep the rear end from not sliding out underneath you when it's fresh. As caution flag flies on out, we got problems down here. Kyle Dumig in the 18, the 17 of, I believe that's Garrett Rainey there with some serious troubles, and we've got a huge problem down here on the front end here. And that will take us to our PTM replay. Take a look and see what happened here exactly. Yeah, looks like that 25 there flips into the number 28, Rodney Roberts. Gets a piece there. Looks like his strategy was not quite up to par as he was hoping for. Take one more look at it here and see if we can get a good look at this camera angle. The Bush NA28 just came right through the corner there, and you can see it gets clipped up. The 50 get a piece of him coming off that den, and then Krall just smashing it right into his front bumper, taking a good chunk, and the rest of the field just trying to evade and trying to avoid, and Krall actually just even giving him some more payback for that, although it really wasn't even his fault. Roberts ended up putting it down in pit road, did not want to continue on. That's a tough break there for him, unfortunately. Knew he was really speedy got some speed underneath him, and wasn't expecting this to happen like that, unfortunately. Pace car's lights still on, which means we're still going to, well, pace truck I should say, not pace car. I'm so used to saying the pace car around here, guys. But right now we're currently got our truck series scheduled up on the back end. They're going to get settled back down here. As most people kind of already know by now, this is my home track for the asphalt end here for iRacing. Of course, my closest track, though, believe it or not, that is near where I live, is actually in Knoxville. So, guess what track that one is? That's on iRacing. Both tracks I have actually been able to at least see in kind of contention with. And I can tell you one thing, man, iRacing has done a tremendous job with really just making any of these tracks, any of these places you see, look as well as realistic and genuine as they come. I mean, from first impressions wise, it's been a long time since I was at Knoxville, and I actually went in playing more of the race here at Knoxville and iRacing. And when I went back over there and actually kind of took a look at the foreground, the fields and everything, and that was actually probably like the most surreal feeling ever. Was like, this actually does look and feel almost genuinely like what I would have seen in Knoxville's racetrack. The sounds even too, like if you listen carefully, if you have the right stuff like I've got, it's pretty much night and day, man. It's almost like picture perfect. It's not comparing apples to oranges, like comparing apples to apples. So if just for a little thing or two, if you guys have a local track that is on, or have a track that is on iRacing that you've never been to or you have been to, feel free to like load it up. Just kind of like try to put yourself in that surrounding and then see like what you think when you actually go back to that place. Believe me, it's just some kind of feeling you cannot get over. It is really something. Speaking of something, it's time to get back to this here. The You Look Good 165 is back underway. Unfortunately, though, we have lost a few drivers here due to the wreckage and due to the corners down there. Rodney Roberts, Michael Kroll, both in pit road and kind of dunned out. Stephen Durham not able to make the call here. Carter Joe Keel a lap down. Going to have to try to work that back in. Garrett Rainey in the 17 also a lap down. So he's got, both drivers have time to spare and time to work with. But they need to get it dialed in quicker rather than later. Over 100 laps left to go here as Pascal Simard right now moving the chains. He's got a fight up ahead. The 09, Kevin Sargent. Kevin Sargent here, family member to Paul Sargent, trying to make their way in and move into the chains. Both drivers right now just continuing to take it through into the distance. Paul up on that high side binders there. You saw that rear end just kick out even more so than usual. You can see just kind of where the cushion is versus where the outside wall actually kind of takes things and makes things even more difficult to kind of work up with. Just a very flat line, straight line track to really race around and have to really burn some speed and burn some controls up with. Tires starting to fade on some of these drivers. Jan Van Leer in the number 5 here starting to fade just a little bit. Here comes Ryan Dye in the number 15. And you can just see how much Ryan is working the steering wheel, working the throttle, entering into each corner, entering each spot, trying to avoid issues. Popping them up, down on the turns, turn 1 and 2 here. Everybody moving up in the distance and moving through. It is starting to get a little bit more rocky around the track. Salamone, though, it looks like he's not worried about it. He's going to play some dive bombs and throw some haymakers, these boys. Did we see a slide job thrown here? No, not yet anyway. Sargent able to keep him down, crossed up. It's the fastest short track in the world, as proudly pro-named by the new Iowa Tracks owners and the world around us. And I certainly wouldn't blame them, nor would I even disagree. This place has made for some incredible moments and some crazy times. I've actually gone and watched some of the Xfinity races here, and one of those big battles there. Some even the Arca boys have even kind of put up a show or two here. It's definitely a track that does not get enough respect, if you ask me, from any of the NASCAR officials and them. We're gonna hope they would get them fixed up with the new next gens, but I don't know. Maybe I might have to wait till next year. Kyle Dubig there in the number 18, trying to make something work with the Toyota Tundras, and trying to get fix some speed back up. He had the momentum earlier on as he moved 7 spots up, but now currently kind of stuck in that 7th spot. But being qualifying 20th and having to navigate your way into the top 10 is not exactly an easy task on this track. Speaking of not even an easy gas to navigate through, how about a 3 wide slope from the back stretch into turn number 3 and 4. Carson Mitchell, the number 4 Tundra, trying to keep his Bass Pro Shots machine under clear and staying out of trouble. Jan Van Leer, though, dealing with him while also dealing with that 15 of Ryan Dye right below him. Both drivers not giving each other an ounce of room or any place to travel to make a mistake from. Side by side, Jan has to drive a little higher up. You can see Ryan Dye, though, he can drive that thing straight to the bottom, but it tears up so much equipment and tires. Having to do it, but if you time it just right, you really can make something work out of nothing there. $105 laps now left to go. And so far, it really has been the Jeff Langston show here in the 21 as the Rotella T Ford F-150 really has not lost too much ground or any clearance here. Has been kind of just staying at his own neutral corner this entire time. Can't say that I blame him. I wouldn't be want to try to put myself in any bad spots or any bad angles right now anyway. Ryan Dye in the 15 now, moving his way down on the 4 here. Carson Mitchell kind of keeping up the nose, kind of keeping up position. In the back of the pack right now, looking in. Brantley Gainey Jr. here in the 22, still keeping up ahead of Josh Maxwell in the number 8. As the 8 of Maxwell earlier on got stuck into the wall protection down the inside corner, and still not really sure what happened exactly there, what went wrong. But for the most part, has been staying out of trouble, at least for now. Just trying to avoid any more circumstances or any more troublesome problems. That could definitely be a case. That could be an issue to be made here. As you see, Ghost Guard corner, whoa! Right up on the top side, and Pascal Simard and Dylan Frazier, worlds colliding there. I'm not sure if Simard just kind of drove up a little bit and ended up kind of clipping that 38. It kind of brought him down too, or whatnot, but both drivers had worlds collide and met their match. Both slowed down tremendously here, and Maxwell now looking to take full advantage of it. Just like that, in the back of the pack, things can just change in a dime and change in a heartbeat for you if you're not careful. Maxwell trying to make a pass and a push. Has some room to work with, though, you see, as he continues to hold the bottom. The bottom is not making any good passes here so far. You really have to drive in it quick, and you have to drive in it quickly. As the Newport 8's trying to do something, but it will not be able to go. Carson Mitchell, talk about a falling back from the pack here. Remember, he did not go into pit road when really everyone else had kind of opted into it. Looked to me more of a stable balance between setting the refresh rate and resetting himself on the track. But now, he's just trying to make sure that the truck will be able to last out as long as he needs to without over-accentuating or overbearing his equipment. Ryan Dye started 10th here. He's qualified 10th, moved into 4 spots, got 6th place right now. The 15 Long John Silvers, Jan Van Leer qualifying 2nd, but unfortunately has not been able to recover or regain the composure and momentum he had earlier. He's been fighting it alongside with some of these guys, and fighting alongside with a lot of these drivers. Great little battle here right now for the top five here. This is the fifth spot, dealing with each other. Dye won't leave that PFE Brakes Next Level Racing 5 Chevrolet Silverado alone, and neither will Jan Van Leer allow him to get in that position, take him away from it. He needs to stay in the throttle, keep the RPMs up high, and make sure he watches every turn, every little spot. One long move, and that could end up costing you dearly. A little bit of a scratch up into the surface. David Fay in the 88 earlier on got into a little tangle move with some of these boys. And then clears it up and makes sure that he doesn't do anything too bad from that end. As the 49 of Paul Sargent goes up top, lets the Fay in the 88 drive it up high. Paul Sargent right now troubles off turn number 4, gets into the wall protection, slamming it up a bit with Brantley Grayling Jr. Moves it right underneath his nose and into the inside corner panels. You know, just when you think you kind of have a place to chill out and slow down for a minute, everything just goes from 0 to 0 and flips it all upside down again. You just cannot stop what is going to happen when they come to the track and they come to the show, and that's exactly what we'd like to see. That's why you never miss out on any of our races here, folks. Dylan Frazier in the 38 now moving in as he's got company. Here comes Josh Maxwell. Maxwell in the 8 now making some little nicks, little dinks into the corners, looking to try to take away the speed that is Frazier. Paul Sargent in the 49, kind of doubled up, backed up, thrown into the burners here. He is literally finding himself in a whole lot of trouble right now. Pascal Samar now taking full advantage of Sargent's mistakes, living him by, getting passed up again. And you see just what happens when you try to fight on this track. The tires take a beating, the truck starts to become a little bit harder to manage and work around. And again, the fact that it's a short track as well makes that much even more difficult, although you really would kind of think it was not a short track the way some of these boys race it. Domek now getting some company right below him as you see Maxwell trying to revert and shoot the gaps on a few more boys. He's gone 2 spots up. Now he's just trying to hang on. Domek holding him up a little bit, not much. That's not going to give him much more room. Maxwell able to slow the corner off and take full aim and control. Doesn't cross him up though. You can see he stays lower than the 18. He has to defend that bottom lane so he doesn't get crossed up or get the cross thread. When you get crossed, it's easy to get cross threaded up here because you're just driving way too hard up or going way too hard down. And the next thing you know, somebody just kind of sneaks in and steals your lane, steals your line. And that's when all your speed and the airflow around your truck or your car gets completely put into null and veil. The last thing you want is no avail on any of those kind of racing. But almost at the halfway point. And to say that Jeff Langston has kind of took this race on its head and turned it upside down, I think might be an understatement. That Rotella T number 21 F-150 has absolutely just slung it right at every one of these drivers. Paul Ellis in the 55 trying to hang on. John Kay in the 2 also in the Easy Go. trying to figure out a way to get with that code red of 55 Ellison, but right now anyway, there is no looking forward, there is no looking back. It's all just get and go and race it out. Brian Dye, Jan Van Leer here still back at each other's game plans, each other's throats here, looking to try to outsmart the other. Jan right now on the onboard camera here, looking to try get a good glimpse of what he's doing here from our end. You see his steering, how he's kind of manipulating the truck around. You can see how it actually kind of curves and embankments around. It's almost like a sharp, really 90-degree left turn, if you will, or 45 angle, but no, it really isn't. Justin Underwood coming on board saying, "What's up, my dudes?" Hey, Justin, good to have you on board, sir. Carson Mitchell heading into pit road now. The number 4 will get that pit stop put into full effect here, and may have been a pretty good time to do so because really we're getting late into this race, and you know time is not on your side. Got to start to really put up the boots and put up the fight. Try to hang on for the best you got. Laps fading off. You can see Ellison though leaving a lot of room for steams to come up. John Kay taking over the positions here. As you can see, the Ford are in hot pursuit to take this one away from everybody here. The easy go to getting around that big code red 55 Mountain Dew schemed up of Ellison as he looks to burn this thing around, and his red diamond as well. So he's got a code red and a red diamond on that thing. Oh, that's a double trouble right there, I tell you. Something you may have noticed too, listen to that throttle rhythm. You heard him actually shift down as he was exiting off the turn. Now you're probably wondering, oh, why did he do that exactly? Well, you gotta remember something. The faster you are is based off of two things. Number one, how much speed can you get on the ground surface level by simply just running more momentum and more throttle with your tires, and how you rotate around the track. The second thing, though, and the main thing really a lot of folks seem to forget about, is your RPM levels. If you don't have those RPMs at a very good redlining effect without getting too much into the way too much red line, then you're not getting that momentum, you're not getting that motor to transfer down to your tires to help the truck or car rotate, or to even get more speed built up to actually get around some areas, around some troublesome chutes. So that's why when you always see these guys come out on the track and you hear that throttle rhythm, and you hear that speed these guys carry, that's why they do that. They'll actually back off and then let this RPMs kind of kick up more. The only downside to shifting down is you're literally having to shift the weight of all that momentum and all that horsepower from our rear engine to our front engine into the rear or the front of the vehicle. And depending on what kind of vehicle you're driving, you time it wrong, let's just say you better hope you find a way to fish yourself out of that mess. Michael Dean now, the 73, him probably being damaged up pretty good, having a few little scrapes and bruises. Doesn't seem to be phased as he continues to duke it out with Dylan Frazier and the number 38. Another driver still heading into pit road. Dylan Frazier, the 38 right now, though. Absolutely solid as can be, and solid on his performance today. Has not really made too many issues or too many enemies of himself. Did find himself a little bit of trouble, but, you know, that's here and here say. Well done it. Believe me, I do it all the time here at this track. Not because I try to, it's just because it's just one of those things you just can't help it sometimes. You'd look good in blue. 165 currently still on the deads and on the nose here, ready to complete our next race out of the bunch. We've got about 70 laps remaining here on the track as we're looking at our best lap times here, watching Jet Steams go out of here with Paul Ellison for a little bit. So let's take a look at the best lap times here, of course, and really this to me really kind of sparks intrigue and interest here, as the best lap times have been scored up by about a 23.63, which that time was laid down by Chad Steams, but the fastest was a 23.61, which was set by Jeff Langston. Langston has really, to me, all day just been the performing driver. He has not let up from the start. Got put back early, then made that big crossover move around Carson. Never really had any issues from there. Logan Hall saying go insert coin, and Logan, good to have you on board here today as well. Tristan Underwood saying thanks. I wish I made the race, but I'll be ready for Michigan, one of my favorite tracks. Tristan, we cannot wait. We hope to see you there, and we hope to see all these drivers and maybe more popping up on our show. It was a little 3 wide slew engaged there, with one having to go into pit road being Ellison. The others, well, let's just say they're having a little fun figuring out who's going to take down who here. Jan Van Leer getting around that number 17. Garrett Rainey here. Garrett way off pace, way off momentum. Brian Dye trying to hang on with Jan though. And it looks like he won't be able to hang on much longer. He needs to get into pit road himself. Dye will now send the 15 into pit road, and you can see that tight little corner exit off into pit road. It's not exactly the easiest place to get around, and it's not the easiest place to deal with, I'll say. John Kay continuing to stay out with Jeff Langston. Langston yet to go into pit road in quite some time, has quite a bit of laps underneath him, but I guarantee you that 21 will have to admit defeat sooner rather than later. I think really his main focus is just staying in this position, staying in where he's at right now, knowing he's got a good truck on his hands. Paul Ellison now in that 55, moving the chains up ahead, got around Dylan Frazier in the number 38. Not going to be a lap down the top 10 anymore, but he's still quite a few positions down out of the track side on the track notice. John Kane, the 2 now, puts it into pit road, will settle himself back down on the flat. Down on the track here and into this area. Here we go, 18 Kyle Dumick going up against Brantley Gainey Jr. here. Lap down for Dumick though, as Gainey just continues to move up and fight around. And Brantley Gainey Jr. now heads into pit road, so that will settle up his time on the track. Salamone, the 99, moving up 13, 16 up for David Fay. And Langston only up 3, but has been the leader for a good chunk of this lap zone here. And Langston, for the first time now, has surrendered the lead as he heads into pit road himself. The 21 now has to get in for some fuel tires. And you can see what's going on down there with one of the guys, unfortunately. That's Rodney Roberts, that 28. Damaged, badly damaged, that 28. That thing is blown, smithereens, smoked up a few joints, and, well, it's not very many joints here in Iowa. Not that I would know that or anything, but, I mean, that's the here or there. Oh, as we can hear there, a huge hit there for the number 50, Corey Rutherford there. He just smashes the wall off of turn number 4, gets the truck really sideways and long ways and every which way to Sunday, but he was able to hold on. The Kellogg's design number 50 sure does look great, but unfortunately would not say translate to the speed here. Salamone heads into pit road now. That leaves David Fay as your leader in the 88. And you can just see though what fresher tires will do for you, what a fresher truck will get you. He's about to be taken for a bit of a ride here as he's got company right behind him. Ellison now with that lap fully back intact. He's in the top 10. Looking to hang on. Ryan Dye right there with him. Coming up now, we are coming into the final closing stages of this race. This is where you'll see drivers make their choice and decision, go big or go home or throw yourself to the wire and hope that it'll stay where it goes. Not a lot of openings, not a lot of positions to be thrown into like that, nor would you want to be kind of thrown into that bad habit or that bad spot. Langston already moving back into the top 3. Is there really any surprise there? Kind of had a whole, literally a whole almost a full 12-second gap at the most on all the drivers here when he was in the second place, was trying to catch up there. Dumick now, Kyle that is, in the 18, giving him front row seats to let him pass on down, and the quick trip Toyota Tundra not able to hold him back. And David Fay now heading into pit road. The 88 has to surrender his race lead, which means Langston shooting it down on the corners of turn number 3, down turn number 4. Just completely took this one in stride once more and now has full control of this race. David Fay loses the lead. Carson Mitchell moving to second. And Mitchell, the way he's driving right now, I'm thinking he's trying to see if maybe there was a long-term versus short-term style momentum he could keep up with. As he went into lap 83, he was really trying to showcase more if he can actually go the full distance on a full half length. But Langston, with his pit stop at lap 103, kind of sealed the deal on what exactly Mitchell was up to, and really Langston is going to have a lot more momentum and a lot more speed on the tires to give up against these guys. John Kay, number 2, easy go, moving up into the outside line. He crosses it over a little bit with the 4 of Mitchell, and Mitchell pulls up some great defense, having to throw a blocker in there. That's not exactly what John Kay was hoping for, nor was it really what he was asking to really be put into. Whoa, what's this? What is this? Troubles. David Fay has spun out, and the yellow is out. The yellow is out. What have we have here? Well, if you wanted to completely throw this race into reverse, I think we might have just done that, folks. Let's look at the PTM instant replay. And right there, you can just see how tricky it is right on that corner. And Ellison, man, talk about taking a hit where he didn't need to. Smashes it right in the 88, unfortunately, and cost himself not only valiant and valuable time, but that literally just may have cost him any chance or any hopes of being able to keep it in the podium spot. He was in 4th coming to this line. Here's the hit one more time. Watch Fay here. It gets loose. Ellison can't figure out where he's going. Tries to shoot for the bottom, and that was the wrong call. And just like that, everything gets flipped upside down. Wow. That is absolutely crazy to believe and crazy to think that what we just saw there, Ellison was doing so good. managed the nerves well. Was really looking like a top tier driver. Really looked like it's going to be something coming up in the end game of this here. But now this has completely thrown around everything. We are now going to double file them up. We'll be at one lap 119 at 165. Field is going to be put on an absolute clinic spot in a very tight little show here. Langston opts to go to the outside here. I'm not surprised with that position or point to really go off of, considering what he was doing earlier on at the beginning of this race. That definitely a good idea to go for. Back to the green flag, and these field drivers set him back into problematic territory. Yellow back out. We got a major problem down there. And I can't seem to get the driver that had wrecked out on the initial start. Looked like that was a 73 and Michael Dean that got involved in it, for what I'm being told. I couldn't see from my angle or my vantage point. Let's focus on the front. Just saw this puff of smoke back there. Whoa! Did Jill Fraser just slam the brakes on him? I mean, I know there's a thing called brake checking, but I don't think you're supposed to check the brakes right there. Hold on a minute. Let's take a look at the PTM replay from his cockpit cam. This will be interesting to see if he slammed the brake or if he just misshifted. Listen carefully. I don't know, race fans. You be the judge and the judge and jury on that one. I'm not gonna judge that one or make that call, but that seemed like a bit of a bad start, to say the least. And hold on, folks. Technical difficulty aside. There we go. So John Kay, Jeff Langston, now they'll have their hands full again, as they're going to have only about 40 laps to complete. If we go to green-white checkered, I guarantee you that could make things even more tricky for these guys to figure out. Field back into position, and John Kay not able to go off the line. Well, I guess that answers our question. There is something slick on that front straightaway, not letting these drivers get off the line. John Kay just found out the hard way what that is. He spins the tires coming off, and now he is really faltering so far back in the pack. Langston left all alone. Johan Van Leer trying to hunt him down. Ryan Dye in the 15 now, moving it up into the bottom lane, goes a little bit right in with the 4 of Carson Mitchell. Both drivers into the fight, into the fray. Paul Sargent down across the front straightaway here, stays green. Looks like he was trying to go drag racing down there from my end. John Kay somehow, though, in that two was absolutely pouring on the momentum, pouring back to speed. Got a great jump back into this fight. Looking to try and stay with it. Kevin Sargent coming up through it. Looks like he might have something here for the Sargent boys as we are continuing to drive them through. Oh, troubles maybe for Rodney Roberts down there. Looks like the 28 comes to a dead stop on the back straightaway. They'll stay green, no caution though. Big puff of smoke down there on the back end. That's going to kind of make things a little bit more difficult to see for some of these guys. They're coming through those corners, kind of looking for an angle or two to hit from. Salamoni in the 99 now dealing with the 09 of Sargent as they clip them up down in the front straightaway. Bumpers put together, worlds collide once again. Great heated contest between these two front runners as they continue to see which one is the better of the two. Salamoni getting a better run off the outside. That's where the line seems to have been all day. Josh Maxwell though in the 8. Now looking to insert coin this bad boy as the Newport 8 makes a big move down in turn number 2. Logan Hall rooting on his guy in that 8 right now, continuing to drive it hard and drive it in quick. Trying to see if maybe there's something left he can use up against him. We're about 35 laps left to go, 34 I should say now, with Jeff Langston still your race leader, Jan Van Leer, John Kay, Carson Mitchell, and Chad Steeves holding it up in the top 5. These drivers have had their fair share of collisions, their fair share of little run-ins, little spots going to be put into, if you will, and since then it's been just kind of either race and go or race and be told. Corey Rutherford in the number 50 now moving on the outside. Sam Dunaway in the 67 trying to stand clear of causing more issues. It seems like those boys rocking the big skulls and the spearheads on there have had their fair share of run-ins with some of these guys today. A few of them taking each other for a little bit of a ride or two. Some of them giving themselves a nice little bump or a little collision course for the race wall. The others, well, they've either made it to the front of the pack or then to find themselves into a bit of a bad shot, a bit of a back of the pack moment or two. Paul Sargent, the 49 now down low the inside as he makes a move off here at the number 67 Dunaway, opening the door up. Sargent trying to be the sergeant at arms and make sure he rallies the troops, and that's 49. Teams down there watching on as they continue to dictate the pace and dictate the runs. Even some battling going on up ahead here, as you see. That is being piloted up by Garrett Rainey in the 17 as he deals with the 22 of Brantley Gainey Jr. Rainey and Gainey, two separate names, no relation, folks. Rutherford yet again off turn 4, makes a bobble and gets it into the wall protection. The 50 slows down to where Sargent can get around him. Dunaway now moving in, looking to take full control of it as well. Talk about an absolute clinic and a fight between every single one of these drivers from the front to the back. No one is left out of this pack and left out of this attack. Carson Mitchell, the number 4, looking to take it to John Kay here in the number 2. We'll take a look in right now as you see these two just absolutely firing on all cylinders. Meanwhile, behind them, Chad Steems and Ryan Dye just calmly but patiently waiting their turn, waiting for their opportunity to make the moves and make the runoff. "24 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway. We have now reached endgame, and it's time to see who can outplay the other. Eric Breeding having to put it in pit road. Had a call it a day, unfortunately. Couldn't get the 26 to stay afloat. As we watch now with the battle between the 05 of Chad Steems and the number 4 Carson Mitchell. Both drivers side by side, back and forth, and reeling each other to a whole line or two. Ryan Dye, though, in the 15, you got to give the man give the man his credit. He does not give an inch to anybody out here. This Long John Silver's number 15 Ford F-150 trying to put it to the FR Graphics Tracker boats. Number 4 of Carson Mitchell, as you see the Air Jordan 05 take it to the skies, take it to the line. He's trying to rock that bottom line here of Iowa Speedway here in Newton. Steems just will not give him an inch, nor will he give him any chances to pass on Ryan Dye or Carson Mitchell. This is what hard racing's all about. Just seeing 3 drivers go back and forth at it. It's an exhilarating thrill ride, and it's a feeling unlike any other. The only way you can truly experience it is by getting behind that wheel and actually taking it for a round or two with these boys and for a round or two on these tracks. Slicing and dicing from the bottom lane now. Brandley Gain Jr. looking to gain final spots here. He's got one coming up on Michael Dean and as well on Kevin Sargent. The other Sergeant in Arms left out up top. He was trying to steer the truck in and avoid having any more problems, but unfortunately, he kind of created himself a bit of a more of a problem when he was trying to run a certain way. And the insert pulling number 22, Gainey Jr. moving up right at Michael Dean. Oh! And Kevin Sargent smacking that wall protection right off of turn number 4 as well. And Gainey now gains ground, gains position. Dean not able to hold him off. I can hear how far that 73 is dying down and speed dying down on the run as the yellow looks to be back out again. What happened here? Well, I want to say it might be Rodney Roberts that brought out the caution. Well, he's a little bit slowed up on pace. Let's see if we can take a look at the replay. I'm not getting any word on that, nor am I getting any word on what it could have been from. I'm trying to take a look right now, race fans. You may have to excuse me for a minute. Yeah, I'm not getting any results, not getting any word from the drivers here, so I think we're just gonna have to let that one slide by. Well, final lap's now going to straight shoot out on this one here. We're going to be nearly 10 laps to go when we come back to the restart. And those drivers that have not gone into pit road or need to get in there and figure something out, they may want to get it done now rather than later. Garrett Reaney saying, "What Sergeant and Simard?" Well, there's a couple of sergeants out there, but I'll take a look back at it here. Well, that's what they're saying. Oh, well, that could give you a reason. So that was the reasoning for that little wreckage there. The 09 of Kevin Sargent getting a little clip there from the number 76 of Pascal Simard. Garrett, thanks so much for letting us know down there, my friend. He's racing, so he knows what's going on. He's got radio control down there. We don't. We don't have any word from these boys. So we got to rely on what they're telling us here. Either way, that will still settle everyone back down in position and get them squared back up into a double file salute. So after that little hit there, unfortunately for Pascal as well as Kevin, that will bring everyone back into a 13-lap shootout. Josh Maxwell saying, "We have fans." Of course you guys do. You guys put on a pretty good show. And a lot of folks here on PTM Racing TV, we always appreciate a good show. And I know we appreciate you coming on board here and having us watch with us as well. So thanks everybody that tuned in today and who is watching right now. We have one more race to call later, which will have the storyline info up here in a little while. But right now, we are set to go for possibly our last start of the day for Venom Truck Series, and then You Look Good in Blue 165, back to the green, back to the action, top 5 on your screen. And Jan Van Leer literally just found himself in a position he did not want to even try thinking to shoot for. Got very fortunate there, but someone didn't hear Mars Carson Mitchell. And the 4 lost it off of turn number 2. Couldn't hold the speeds down. 3 wide, crashing in there. Right for Chad Steves of 05. Well, the good thing that yellow flag didn't come off on our end. That certainly did not have a good saying there. At the 05 of Chad of Steens gets sent packing around, and that one did not look good. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at the tape. Here's the telling of the tape. Look at Steve's 3 wides it. Salamoni drives up. I don't even think he was expecting Steve's to come through there. And Kevin Sargent, I guarantee it didn't like being put there. And Pascal Simard just getting flipped again. It looks like it was Dylan Frazier in the 38 that got him. But Chad, man, talk about going for broke and going for it all. This is what it takes here on these kind of tracks. And this is the kind of momentum you expect here from these boys. This is a big risk. If Salamoni doesn't drive up, he would have been able to sneak by it. But you can see literally right after that, everybody else just getting kind of caught off guard and into the pack and into the wreckage. There really wasn't much else they could do there, unfortunately. All drivers are okay, although some more miffed than others, I will say. Yeah, I think we might have just lost connection for a second here. Guys, give me a minute here. I think we got to reset the connection, unfortunately. So field right now currently coming off from that wreckage there we just saw a minute ago. As currently our timing sheet might have got a little bit messed up here. Apologies for that. We're currently trying to get that fixed up right now. May see a little bit of a glitch on our end here. Yeah, we just saw it. Producers, we just watched this back. Can we please not watch the same thing again here? Alright, they said they got it fixed. Alright, cool. Let's get it put back on the track here. Let's get this back on where we're supposed to be here. Okay, here's where we're at right now. Sorry about that, folks. life. Unfortunately, like I said, that new update definitely kind of messed things up on our end, so we have some live timing issues here. We're still working out on the kinks. Or, well, maybe not. What the heck? Hold on a minute. Did we just come to the end already? What the heck? Okay, did we miss something here, or are we missing footage? Hold on. I presume that's the end of the race there, or what? What the heck? This can't be right. We're missing something here. I guess they're saying it started raining. Well, I guess the checkers are up, so let's just let them race it out. I guess the rain was coming in. Well, it is in Iowa, so of course the rain was coming up. So let's just get this in, guys. Let's call it as we see it. Last restart. This will be our last restart here as the field will settle and back down. Here we go. One more time by. One more chance. One more golden opportunity to take this one home. Into the green flag. We fly him high. We're off and running. Jeff Langston now looking to keep his position up. Trying to keep everybody at bay. Looking to write him off. And yep, that's where Carson Mitchell got loose. Got him all squared off in place. Jad Steam's trying to make it one last move. Going for broke. Couldn't quite get it. Solomoni takes him for a hit. And the 49 of Sargent gets clipped up. And that's it. That is the race. They're going to call it. And that is over. They are not going to race it out to the finish, which means your race winner, the You Look Good in Blue. Winner is going to be Mr. Jeff Langston. And they're getting official results right now. Yes, Langston is going to take this one home. He wins it here at Iowa Speedway. Langston strives and conquers this one out, takes this one home, and an absolute barn burner end and finish to this one. What a race and what a finish out for him in the track. What a great concluding factor here. Your top five coming away with a serious race and a half. Langston with the win, but Jan Van Leer, man, talk about striving to be consistent overall. Gets second. Ryan Dye, 7 spots up for that man. The 15, Long John Silvers holds up its end. John Kay and the 2 put up a great valiant effort. Got a little squirrely on the restarts, but brought it back late. And Josh Maxwell, what can you say about this cab, man? The insert coin Newport 8. Pops in a top 5, goes 9 spots up. Not the hard charger of the day, but give him credit where credit's due, because the hard charger will go to Brantley Gainey Jr. at 12 spots up, but an absolutely wild, wild performance here on the show. Time to take a look at your race results now. Here on for the Venom Truck Series. Let's look at it. Jeff Langston will come away your winner. Jan Van Leer will go second. Ryan Dye third. Fourth, John Kay. Fifth, Josh Maxwell. Will Solomoni will go 6, 7 to Chad Stearns, 8 to Paul Sargent, 9 to Brantley Gaines Jr., and 10 to Michael Dean. That rounds out the top 10. But race fans, what a battle. What an absolute clinic these boys put on from the start to the finish. They gave it their heart. They gave it their soul. And they really did quite a bit here, to say the least. Great, great stuff from everybody here today. And without really further ado, there is only one last thing left to do, and that's talk with our top 3. So I've got some boys down there willing to help me out and give me a little bit of give these boys something to talk about. So boys, I'm going to send it down to you, and I'll let you chat with them here as we get ready to talk with your top 3 today here on PTM Racing TV. Take it away down there, boys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Iowa Speedway. Venom Truck Series just wrapped up, and I'm here with the top 3. We'll start it out with third-place finisher Ryan Dye. Ryan had a tough time in qualifying. You were really fast in practice. You've been fast all week. Got that 15 machine to third place. I know there was a lot of strategy being bounced around throughout the week by a lot of teams. What was your mindset coming in to this 165-lap race at Iowa?
I didn't really know if we were going to go green the whole way, if we're going to have yellows. Traditionally, short tracks have a few more yellows, so I was really just trying to balance saving tire, but also staying up front. I had the terrible qualifying effort, started 10th, which is probably not terrible for some people, but I felt I was faster than that, and it's just impossible to pass here. So you get stuck back there, and I'm just happy to work my way up to a P3. I'll take that after just a frustrating day.
Yeah, good haul of points for our reigning champion. Had to do some evasive maneuvers at some point during the race, going down through the infield grass. Happy to come out on the other side all right, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, just happy to finish third. We'll keep our top 5 in the points, and we'll look to next week.
Real quick before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank, or any final words here on this fine afternoon?
Yeah, just you go back to interviewing. Thank you to Jan. We raced really hard all night long, but we raced really clean. It was lots of fun. So yeah, I love this league, and it's really fun when you can race hard with guys like that and not have to worry about getting dumped.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for the driver of the number 15, Ryan Dye. Coming home in second, he was last year's Sportsman of the Year, driving the number 5 Inca-Cola Chevrolet, Mr. Jan Van Leer. Jan, again, really fast in practice all week. I know you were running tons of laps. I think you said at some point you ran a 75-lap run and back-to-back, like one right after another. How much do you think that helped you coming into this race, where we did manage to get one really good long green flag run?
Yeah, I think that helped. Practice always makes you better, but really I just got to give it up to my team. Everyone on there, Insert Coin Racing, Brantley Gainey, our new signing, he helped a lot with the saving line, kind of figuring out how to save tires there. And just everyone back at the shop there had a super fast Inca-Cola number 5 Chevrolet, and just really was a pleasure to drive all day. I just try to keep it chill, and at the end of the day, come out second. Can't complain.
And it's well documented here in the league. Early season has been the weakness for you, Jan. How much does this help, having a really good finish here early in the beginning of the season?
Oh my God, man, it helps so much. As you said, last 2 seasons have started out very frustrating, taking me 5 or 6 races to get into the top 10. And this year, I had a rough start at Daytona, so I was frustrated. But then coming back swinging on the next 2 races, it's hard to really ask for more. I wasn't expecting more than a top 10 or maybe even a top 5 out of today. But, super positive, super pumped up as to the season going forward with this team.
Last question.
Also,
we didn't really... Oh, sorry, Jan.
No, my bad. I just wanted to say congrats to everyone on my team for getting a top 10. That's friggin' awesome. Cole with the top 5. I'm over the moon.
Yeah, big time finishes for ICR. Cole Maxwell in the top 5, Michael Dean and Brantley Gainey in 9th and 10th. Even though we didn't really know it at the time, it was going to be the final restart there at the end. What was going through your mind restarting second on the bottom?
Trying to get a good restart, really. Trying to match Jeff. I was pretty nervous. He did get a pretty big jump on me there. I knew time was running out. Knew that rain was coming, but I thought I was a little faster than him through 3 and 4 on the top. So I was hoping for another couple laps there to try to maximize that. I'm not sure I would have been able to get past him, but it would have been fun to try.
It's one thing to get there; it's another thing to pass. Great job, Jan. I would like to say I was definitely rooting for you from my truck, but just not quite enough to get there. That first win is coming. You've come close a couple of times, and that'll be a big-time party when you finally hit victory lane.
Hell yeah, John. Thanks, man.
Anybody you'd like to thank real quick besides your team?
Inca-Cola, great sponsor. Sig Sauer, all my sponsors, Chevrolet, my family, everyone that makes awesome music in the world.
Jan Van Leer, ladies and gentlemen. And on the top step of the podium, taking home the checkered flag, Mr. Jeff Langston, driver of the 21 Ford now, used to be Chevrolet. Jeff dominated 142 laps led out of 156, it's saying in the stats. We got cut a little short. What was your strategy coming in? I know a lot of guys had a bunch of different strategies. What were you looking at?
So my strategy coming in was probably going to be a two-stop race, but obviously, as Ryan mentioned with the cautions, all that kind of went out the window and quickly became a one-stop strategy for me in my mind. And, just stayed out those definitely the first caution. I think I pitted the second caution, if I remember correctly. And then I was just going to split that. Whatever happened, I was just going to split those laps in half after I pitted the first time. So, yeah, that's kind of how my strategy evolved.
Back to the front, you're a force when you race in the league. You hold the record for wins in a season with 6. You came back last season after a long hiatus and dominated at Homestead and brought home the dub. How much does it mean to you to be back racing with us guys here in Venom? We know you were gone for quite a while.
Oh, I love this league. I think the racing is very, very competitive up front. I don't think this race was very indicative as far as cautions go. As we all know, most races have quite a few less cautions than this one, and I really enjoy the league for sure.
Anybody you'd like to thank, sir, as we wrap this deal up? Any final words from our winner?
Definitely all my sponsors, Shell Rotella Tea, and my wife for putting up with all my racing I do during the week.
Big shout out to the wife. That one's going to keep you out of the doghouse, hopefully, for a couple of weeks, man. Coming home in first, the driver of the 21, Jeff Langston, career win number 8 here at Iowa, and that is a wrap for the Venom Truck Series. Make sure to check us out next Tuesday as we head to Michigan for the Venom Cast 160.
Thank you, boys, down there for helping me out tonight, and thank you again, everyone that tuned on into the show. Remember, one more race coming your way, which you'll see up on our feed here in just a little while. But nevertheless, race fans, the rain kind of shortened it out and kind of threw us a little bit of a wrench in our plans, so we'll have to let that one slide. But race fans, coming up here in just a little bit, 100 laps at Iowa Speedway, the Pit Stall League joins us here for the first time ever on PTM Racing TV. But for now, I say farewell, bid you good day. If you are leaving for now, we thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more action, though, as we continue the hard racing ahead.